Good afternoon, crafters. We are live. My name is Hannah Roxbury and I'm the brand ambassador for Carnation Crafts. And today what we are bringing you is a really exciting new launch from our Crafters Select range. Today's Facebook Live is going to be dedicated to that launch. What we're going to do, as we always do with these Facebook Lives, is just give it a few minutes, just A, so everyone that can wants to join us can find us and do so. And also B, just to let that stream run for a little while to make sure we are up and running a-okay. If you've got any questions as we go through today's show, please do message in. I will do my level best to keep up with the comments and answer as many questions as possible. And yeah, exciting. So a new element to the Crafters Select range. So if you're not familiar with Crafters Select is a web exclusive launch, meaning you haven't seen these on television or anything like that. They are launched directly to our website. It's the first place you're going to see them, and we bring you Facebook shows dedicated to those launches. I can see lots of people joining us already from around the world. We have got Karen, we've got Kathy from Eagle Lake in Florida. I recognise the location, Kathy, you've been on before. Thank you for joining us again. Tracy's here as well as Liz. Helen is here also. We've got Karen and Christine and Sheila. Goodness me, lots and lots and lots of people joining us. So as I say, just keep messaging in. Any questions, by all means, we will do our level best to answer them as we go through. And what we're essentially going to do is A, show you this fantastic new dice set, which has been so sought after, which has been lovely to see. We'll go through then a demonstration as well, just showing you just one way of how we can incorporate this particular die set within our card makes. And we have shared posts on social media, pictures on social media that the design team have created using this die set as well. So if you're looking for inspiration, those are the places to head. Lots of messages coming in. Thank you. Lots of congratulations as well. Thank you guys. That's really kind. For anyone that didn't see the announcement on our social pages or on Create and Craft the other day, Simon and I are expecting another baby, so it's very exciting. Ruben's going to be a big brother, which is lovely. So yeah, we're all very excited. So again, thank you sincerely for all your well wishes. They are very well received, and yeah, we've been reading through them, both Simon and I. So thank you guys. So Crafters Select. Oh, this is so exciting because this is taken from a much larger version. So if you might remember back in, I think possibly September, we launched the Soaring Dove 3D card shape, and it was a tour de force. I mean, it was this incredible three-dimensional card shape, which, as the name would suggest, features a soaring dove. It creates a card shape in its own right. I will bring it into screen so you can see here. This is the die set itself. So lovely large size die, and as you can imagine, there is the die itself. Really lovely widespread wingspan on that as well, which is fabulous. I will just measure it, so we've got a point of comparison as well. So I'm going to measure from tip of the wing to tip of the wing, because I think that's the easiest idea to give you of a size comparison. And I'm going to measure in inches, just because inches make far more sense to me, and hopefully they do to you guys as well. So from the very furthest point of the wingtip to the very furthest point of the wingtip is just under 9 1/4 inches. So a nice large size dove. But we got so many requests to produce the same thing again, but in a smaller version for those smaller card shapes. So here you can be snipping away the dove and using it on independent cards as well. So here is the mini Soaring Dove, a 3D card shape. So again, we've stayed true to the original form. It will create a card shape in its own right, just as the larger version does, but we wanted to bring you that mini version as well. So there we go. You can see the dove in the background there, and I will just measure it again to give you that size comparison, and then measuring at the same point. So the very tip of the wing to the very tip of the wing, the actual cutting blade of the die itself is just under 5.5 inches. There you go. So that gives you a really good idea. Again, I have got vignettes printed out ready to show you as well. So they do come with the original colourway, like so, which is obviously the Dove colourway. If you are wondering about this particular die set itself, it is today's deal of the day. So don't miss out, because what we're doing on today's launch, if you head over to the website and click on the banner for deal of the day, click on the tab for deal of the day, or simply enter the stock code for this item. I'm just checking my stock code number. It is 211046. That will take you through to be able to purchase the mini Soaring dove. Normal price on the website is $19.99. Today's launch price as the deal of the day is 25% off, which I think is a fantastic saving on this die set, making it $14.99. So really worth adding to your collection. Even if you don't have the larger one, you can absolutely still use this in its own right. Just to show you again, size comparison, I've printed out the blue tick version of the Soaring dove, so the large original Soaring dove, and then I'll bring in the mini. Isn't it cute? It looks like a little baby version, doesn't it? You could, in all seriousness, create some really gorgeous, perhaps wall art for a nursery or bunting or something like that, where you have like a mummy bird and all her chicks. I think that would be really cute. To also mention, we have done several special edition vignettes for the original Soaring dove. We have recreated those in the mini version as well. They have been bundled together and they are also on offer as well. So included within that bundle is obviously the original colourway, which is the dove. You've then got the phoenix, you've got the blue tipped, which I've just shown you on the printout there, and you've also got the eagle and then the stars and stripes eagle as well. All of those are available for the original size Soaring dove, but we've also made them for the mini as well. So it's just expanding your card crafting abilities with that. I think this is going to be a really, really popular die set. Now I'm going to have a little scroll back through the comments, make sure I'm not missing any questions. Oh goodness me, lots to scroll back from. Oh, I hope I haven't missed anything. Okay, let's see. Suzanne says, hi, Hannah and all the crafters, been crafting all morning. What a lovely way to spend a morning. Yeah, I have too. Do you know what? I had a huge disaster. You know those countdowns where you're like, right, I've got 5 minutes. I'm going to grab a drink. So I've got a little drink next to me. And then I'm shuffling around because I'm obviously prepping at the same time as doing these lives for shows that we've got coming up next week on Create Craft. And I'd spent ages, and I don't know how you guys construct all of your cards, but when I'm batch making, I cut all the layers. So I might cut like, I don't know, 10 layers, for example, of layer 1, and then 10 layers of my mats and layers, and 10 layers of my filigree. And I had it all beautifully positioned, laid out, ready to add the tape to, ready to put in my little demo packets. I was thinking, you know, when you're so proud of what you've done, and I got a bit exuberant with something, and I don't even know how I did it, but literally all my mats and layers are all over the floor at the minute. I'm just hoping Morph the cat doesn't wander in here and start stamping all over him like he normally does. So we're ignoring that. You know, the joys of television shows. Here we go. Little screen that you can see us on. Underneath, total chaos. But there we go. Some little lots of congratulations. Thank you guys. That is so lovely. Pearl says, hi all, Hannah and company. Loving this new die, and I've got the vignette ready. Oh, that's fantastic, Pearl. Yeah, absolutely. Those vignettes are ready. They're available to download from our website, carnationcrafts.co.uk. Head on over there, get them downloaded, get them ready, because I know the team are working hard at getting your orders out for you today. So hopefully you'll be crafting with this within the next couple of days as well. Lynn says, afternoon, Hannah. Can you tell me when the large wine glass will be back in stock and the large numbers, please? And congratulations. Thank you, Lynn. We are due. What's the day today? We are due imminently a replenishment of stock. What I would suggest for anyone that is waiting on anything that's been out of stock, sign up for our newsletter, carnationcrafts.co.uk/newsletter. We'll send you a little information post when new items are available. And also from each and every single one of the product pages, you can sign up for an email alert as well. Just leave your name and email address in the little box, click get an alert, and as soon as items come back into stock, it will ping a little message to your email inbox there for you, Lynn. Hopefully that answers the question for you. June says, I've ordered the mini dove and the vignette set today. Fantastic, June. That's great. Thank you very much. Let's have a little look. Kathy says, love the new size. Yeah, it's so usable. Do you know what's really lovely? Actually, it can be used completely in tandem with the larger size as well. I mean, we've obviously mentioned having like a mummy bird and her chicks, but if you wanted to, you could create perhaps your larger dove on the card and then have your smaller dove on perhaps the gift tags, for example, or if you're creating stationery notelet sets and things like that, you've got the options there of mixing and matching with the larger and the smaller size designs. Poor Paul. Oh, that gave me a little heart attack when I first started reading that. Paul says, serious complaint regards customer service. Customer service, I hope you're watching and taking note. I received an email this morning at 8:19 saying the dove is already on its way. I think 19 minutes to open, check orders, pick, label, package, and then emailing me is not acceptable. Lots and lots of crying, laughing faces. Absolutely brilliant. Paul, you're more than welcome. I know, as I say, the team are working their little socks off in the warehouse to get your orders out to you. Julie says, watching from the hot tub. Well, Julie, there we go. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. Stacey says, where do you find the time? Do you need an assistant? Do you know what, Stacey? Honestly, you wouldn't believe it. But yeah, by all means, come give us a hand. Okay, so I think I've covered all of the questions. As I say, if you've got more as we go through, please, by all means, type them up. Crafters Select, launching today, that mini dove. Let me just show you again, because I think it is a fantastic little size. So there's the packaging. There's the dove itself. If I could get that into shot there. There we go. That was very awkward, wasn't it? Little dove as well. So really lovely, dainty little size. Perfect for your more smaller cards, perhaps your 7x5 cards, 7x7, 6x6s, whatever it may be. This is going to grace the front of some really beautiful cards. Now, you might be thinking, okay, how am I going to use the dove? We're going to be making a sympathy card today because obviously the connotations, you've got lovely religious connotations behind the dove itself. But don't forget, you've got those extra vignettes, those different colorways if you'd like to purchase and download the special edition ones. Gives you options on how you can craft with those, but also really lovely for wedding cards as well, or anniversary cards. So you can think about the themes we're doing with this particular dove. For the demonstration today, what I'm going to be showing you is how to create your three-dimensional card shape. We have demoed it on the larger size, and that is available on the YouTube channel as well. And then we'll be working it into a design. Now, I've grabbed some of the Midi florals too, because I thought they worked really well alongside this dove, and I'll be working on the Vintage Dream Stepper card as well. So again, it's just grabbing a few things from previous collections, because I know everybody loves the fact that Carnation Crafts all work together with their collections, but it might be things that you've not seen demoed before, so I thought I'd try something a little bit different today. Mary says, will you be getting the collection of Coastal Currents soon? Yes, hopefully, Mary. As I say, we are due a replenishment soon. So as I say, you can sign up for an email alert when these things become available and back in stock too. Let's have a little turnaround on the camera. And let's begin by showing you how we can create this into a three-dimensional card shape in its own right as well. So when you cut your vignette out, I won't go through cutting the vignette out. We do have plenty of YouTube tutorials showing you how to align and cut, and I will put links to those after the Facebook Live itself. But what you receive and what you get is this wonderful cutout featuring lots of feathers, obviously the clouds, the detailing, the soft colouring there. I think it's glorious. You'll see down the centre of the dove, you have this almost like a perforation line to begin your fold. And you've got folds either side of the dove and folds on the clouds as well to create this standing aspect. All we need to do is valley fold initially down the body of the dove itself. And that you can see it already draws in the bottom of the card like so. We then mountain fold the little head, and that brings the wings up further. So you get the kind of nice sort of swooping shape from the dove. And then these little folds either side of the body, they just come back like so. Okay, and that keeps the shape of this dove. At this stage, if you wanted to, you can go ahead and curve the wings. Now you notice when we're working with our vignettes, our coloured artwork, we call them vignettes, you have got the same coloration on the back of the die cut as what we do on the front. That is because we're working with a mirrored vignette. That, again, I can put links up on how to achieve the mirrored vignette looks, but both the mirrored and the standard vignettes are available within the download packs there. So once you've sort of folded in, your card will stand like so, or perhaps it's a place name at a wedding table, like a head weddings table or something like that. You know, lots and lots of different ways of using these. Very, very pretty. Again, great for Christmas cards as well, actually. If you want a little added extra support, you have got fold lines on these clouds. So you can fold these almost like a little kickstand to the front, should you wish, and you could include a little sentiment strip along those. Or you can have a little adjust and fold them behind, tucked out of the way, and you get more of a cutout shape from the clouds like so. But whichever way you choose to have your kickstand arranged, obviously that then dove is going to sit beautifully and proud against the rest of the backdrop there. So it works in exactly the same way as the original, but it just gives you an option on how this looks. June says, oh my mini flowers too arrived today. They are gorgeous, absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much, June. Hopefully you'll find some inspiration with this demo as well then. Liz says, I have the large dove and I've just bought the mini one and a vignette set. Love the option of a smaller one. Used the large one on Christmas cards, my friend. She was blown away with even the beauty of the card. Thank you for making my cards more professional. Liz, that is a lovely, lovely message to send. Thank you very much for letting us know. And we're really glad your friend loved her Christmas card as well. I can imagine this looking beautiful on the front of Christmas cards. So I've got in front of me the card base and a few mats and layers. I'm just moving them out of the way so I don't get all confused. For the, what do we call it? This is the Vintage Dream Stepper. Yes, singing everything does tend to help me focus my mind. Apologies for that. And essentially all we need to do, when it comes to construction of card bases, always work on our 350 GSM Perfect Smooth cardstock. It's a nice heavyweight cardstock. And when you're talking about card bases, you want that construction weight so it's going to stand the test of time. It's going to be able to have your lots of layers on there and it's not going to buckle or anything like that. Being a nice perfect smooth finish as well gives a very elegant look to your cards as you're getting this nice light reflection from it. There's no sort of unsightly textures or anything like that on there. It's just a nice card base to be working with. There are two ways of making cards. We either cut the two layers as we're doing here and adjoining, or it cuts in its entirety. It's very simple with Carnation Crafts. We try and do everything in the most easy and logical way possible. The Vintage Dream Stepper is one of these where we cut two of the outermost die. Again, if you've watched a few of my Facebook Lives or even our shows on Create and Craft, you will know it's something we go over many, many times. Cut two of the outermost die from your 350 Perfect Smooth cardstock to get your card base. When this particular die cuts, you get your score lines on the edge of the stepper and you have these tabs on the inside, well, on the outside, but we fold them on the inside as well. Same again with the front, folding your tabs in, and it is a really, really simple construction. All we're doing is folding those tabs into the center and then sticking the tabs together, okay? We're using red liner tape, so nice strong adhesive tape, because obviously we're using construction card here. We want a tape that is going to hold the weight of what we're working with as well. So just aligning those tabs and sticking. And again, same on the other side. Aligning the tabs and sticking like so. Okay, so that hides the tab as it hides the workings of the card on the inside and leaves you with this really elegant silhouette on the outside. Here you have your little mountain and valley folds as well. Just create a little side step a bit. So you, again, already pre-scored. Mountain fold, valley fold, mountain fold and valley fold. Same on the back to construct your base. Okay, now things like the what am I trying to think of, the wild garden stepper and also the taking flight construct in the same way. They just happen to have another side panel into which you can start working as well. Next up, let's add in some mats and layers. So again, this is all from that same card base, the Vintage Dream Stepper. And we're going to fix these in place using finger lift tape because we want a nice flat join between the layers, because we're going to go in and add in lots of height and dimension on our flowers and of course those wings on the dove. I'm using one of the Perfect papers. I genuinely, really sorry, I can't remember which collection it's from, but it's a very nice light blue. I think it's probably from Above the Clouds, the collection whereby the original dove launched. But I wanted something quite graceful in the background. And then I'm going in with another matte layer, slightly smaller size, again, within that same card pack, again, fixing it with my finger lift tape. And this particular layer is cut, again, from the Perfect Smooth. So it's just giving you a very, very plain, but very pretty background. Tanya says, hello, gorgeous. Sorry I'm late. I've had so much demo prep to work and do demo prep work to do and have left it all to the last minute again. I love that. That sounds like me. I ordered the mini dove early hours, and a huge congratulations to you and your boys on the new arrival. Looking forward to a double buggy die. Yeah, I'm guessing the team will have to get working on that, won't they? Miss Bagshaw has just joined us. Hello, Carla. I hope you're well. I'm going to email you after this. Because I haven't spoke to you today, and it just makes me feel a bit discombobulated when I haven't spoke to you. Sandra says it would be wonderful if more box maker dies came out to accommodate the card size that you're making. Well, do you know what, Sandra? It's very interesting you say that. So the card size I am making, let me just measure it quickly, is 6 inches, obviously allowing a little bit around the side, by 8.5 inches. I am attempting within the next couple of weeks to do a Facebook Live where I will be showing you how to use the multi-box die. Obviously, we showed you on Create and Craft several times, and we do have a YouTube tutorial on making the square boxes, but I will be bringing you tutorials on how to adapt those and use them to accommodate other card shapes as well. So hopefully, within the next couple of weeks, I can bring that to you. We will obviously advertise it in advance, so keep an eye on the events pages. Carla's just said, I know, right? I need my Auntie Anna fix. Yeah, I looked at my phone. I was like, oh, a whole day's gone by and I haven't spoken to Carla. What on earth is going on? Maureen says, just purchased a mini die. Can't wait for it to arrive. That is wonderful, Maureen. Thank you very much. So the layer we just put down here is this really lovely, intricate sort of filigree layer. And what I've done is cut the initial matte layer from the blue. Again, so we've got this nice sort of dusky blue background. And then the filigree layer itself from white. Again, the same perfect smooth we've been using. Having it mounted just on a little bit of foam, a 1mm foam tape, gives it a little bit of lift. It still is a lovely backdrop. It's not going to over impact. It's not going to overpower the look of my card, but it's just going to sit there nicely in the background. Now I'm going to embellish the corner or the side step a bit as well. And this, I'm going to stick the same colorway on the perfect papers, and I'm sticking that using the finger lift tape again. What I'm doing here is just folding a little bit of the carrier sheet of the finger lift tape over to create a little tab. Positioning it using these little points here to make sure it's nice and aligned, making sure everything's even around the edge, and then peeling like so, and then ready to go. I've just seen a post from Carnation, I think, answering June, saying, we packed it. That's how quick they are. Superstars in the Carnation Crafts warehouse. Thank you, team, for all the hard work you do. Our next layer, into the little side panel here. I think I've skipped a layer of the mats and layers just because I wanted something with a little bit more of a wider blue border. But again, I'm using that same colorway, so the blue in the background, the white of the perfect smooth on top, finger lift tape to attach, and again, same, even this little panel down here is going to have a decoration too with these same mats and layers. And just mounting that like so. So from here, I mean, this could grace any kind of card shape. You could put florals in here. You could put, you know, anything you like, really make it into a wedding card, use the panels, whatever it happens to be. For us, this is going to be the backdrop for our mini dove. So what I've got in front of me is, of course, my mini dove. I've also cut a couple of the smaller doves from the original card shape as well, because I might want to include those on the card. I've got a lovely sentiment here, always in our hearts, in the same colourways as our dove. This is taken from the Above the Clouds collection. I thought it was a really nice sort of thoughtful sentiment for a card such as this. And here, let me just bring them into shot. I've got the white colours of a few of the florals from the Midi Flowers 2, which launched last Friday on Create and Craft. We did bring you 7 different vignette colourways for the Midi florals at the takeover launch, and I thought it'd be really nice again to introduce that nice white background. I've chosen the lilies because again we're working with this sort of sentiment, this with symphony theme, freesias, and a few of these little ones as well, just to use as tuck-ins. And then I was thinking, do you know what, I want something different. I want something light and airy, and that's going to work in with the theme of the dove. So I cut the leaves from the Midi flowers, the eucalyptus and the broader leaves here, from our vellum as well, which I thought was a really nice sort of airy way to introduce a little bit of point of difference texture to the background as well. So we're going to have a little play around and see how this works up. I'm going to grab my foam tape because I'm going to need that for my sentiment. I'm not going to commit to stick anything just yet because I would like to just decide on where things are going to be placed before I commit. But I do need a little bit of foam tape on the back of this sentiment. So 1mm foam tape again, just tape on a roll, nothing too special, but I'm just going to cut that down a little bit so I can then just have that in there like so. Perhaps I want a little bit on just the A as well, just to make sure it's nice and well stuck. There. Normally I get this all stuck in advance, but that one escaped me today. Now, always in our hearts is going to be our sentiment that features, and I kind of going to think that maybe I'm going to use that in the central panel of the card shape itself. But as I say, I'm not going to commit to stick until I have decided on placement. Now, I really want this dove kind of swooping in, pointing towards the sentiment, drawing the eye to the sentiment here. And just look how those beautiful vignettes, that gorgeous artwork works with the colours we've chosen in the background there. Rather than using it as a standing card that we just demonstrated, I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to follow the cut line details around the wings here and just release those wings down those little score lines of the body to meet the tail just there. Okay, so I'm going to release this little dove, oops, excuse me, from the clouds. I'm doing it in such a way whereby if I want to include the clouds, they're not going to be cut into, they're not going to be damaged whilst I'm taking this out, but they could perhaps feature as well on the card. But we'll make a decision on that as we go. Just going to neaten up that little point there. And here we have our dove ready to go. So somewhere about there is going to be the placement for our card for our lovely little dove. Fiona Williamson says, just placed my order. Can't believe I nearly forgot. Phew, goodness me, Fiona. Yes, don't forget to place it today. As I say, that dove, that mini dove is deal of the day today. So you've got a lovely 25% off on today's prices. Carnation have just gone back and said, we won't forget to back it. I know, they're already on it because they're amazing. Christine says, will the MIDI flowers be available in single packs? As with all our launches, Christine, the MIDI flowers are available individually. They come as a set of two, set one, set two. They come together. We don't break them up because then you might be left with the wrong types of flowers. And of course, the downloads are all together as well. But yes, they will be released individually onto our website as the 2-pack set 1 and 2. Carol says, sorry I'm a bit late. Been busy making a card for a friend's birthday with Carnation Crafts Dies, of course. Carol, lovely. Don't forget to share what you've made if you can, if your friend's not in the Carnation Crafts group. Share it over on the group. And of course, don't forget you can always watch back the lives at any point. We upload them both to Facebook and we upload them to YouTube as well. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to move my little flowers out of the way just for a second because I'm going to add a little bit of detailing to these florals. So whenever we're working with die cuts, don't ever think, right, let's just place these down. I've cut them out, let's just place them down. Take the time to go in with your ball tools and your foam pad and lift the flowers. So balling them out gives them a rounded finish. It also gives them a really lovely lifelike quality. Same with the lilies. We're choosing a ball tool which is similar size to the flower itself. And with the lilies, for example, I'm balling one way on the reverse of the lilies. And then just using our ball tool to kind of push down in the centre. So you're drawing those petals back up and around. It gives it a very, very pretty quality. Same with these little ones. Let me swap to a little small diddy ball tool. These are, of course, all Carnation Crafts ball tools available from our website with the foam mat. Great for paper sculpting, great for adding your texture into your designs as well. But just by lifting and twisting and turning those petals, it just gives you so much more craftability. Same with the larger size petals on this lily here, just pulling those out, rounding those off like so. And then to that centre, drawing those petals back up and around. Anywhere where we've got leaves, I tend to go in with my poker tool and use my thumb and forefinger to twist and turn the leaves over the tool as well. I'm going to just quickly do these little leaves on the vellum. Obviously treating the vellum exactly the same as what we would do our printouts, our vignette papers. But because you have got such an exquisite amount of cut line detail within our die sets, these still obviously look like leaves. It's not just the artwork there that brings these creations to life. The cut line details in the dies themselves work so fantastically. So even if you didn't want to use the vignettes and you just wanted to perhaps colour these yourself, cut them from watercolour cardstock, for example, and then colour them, you've got options. You've got plenty of cut line detail produced from the die cuts that allows you the ability to go in and do that. So I've got my leaves, I've got my flowers. I'm going to shape the dove as I place it. Now let's have a little play around with how these are going to lay. So we've got our sentiment to the centre of the card. We've got our dove at the bottom. Let's have the idea of the florals kind of creeping up the side of the card, like so. Remember, I'm not sticking anything at this stage. We're just coming in, getting a feel for the look of the card, how we want it to progress. Perhaps we want the lilies just covering up. Yeah, that's quite nice. Kind of tucked in around that sentiment there. Might leave the other one off, and then we can go in with a few leaves, just like so. I think that's going to look really pretty. We've also got the option here of including another dove on the other side, and I think that's going to work quite well as well. Once we're kind of happy with placement, let's go ahead and start sticking. I'm not going to stick the sentiment first because obviously there's quite a lot of floral behind that sentiment. So I'm going to get placement of the florals first, and I think I'm going to work down from that top corner. So I'm going to put the freesias in to begin with. Now these I'm going to stick with three-dimensional glue gel. This is our Pinflair. Pinflair is available on the Carnation Crafts website. The reason I personally like to work with Pinflair is it gives me a little bit of wiggle room so I can place. It gives me obviously that wonderful quality of height and dimension to my card mates, and it dries clear. So if I do squidge a little bit over the side, it really doesn't matter. No one's going to notice. I'm concentrating on aligning those stems. So these will come down in kind of a flourish down the card like so. But I'm not going to press too hard because it might be that I need to come in and snip those stems off. Let me just grab the sentiment and check. Yeah, I think with the placement, let's just trim those stems down. Again, with card making, it is a little bit of offering things up, testing things out, seeing how they look, and then committing to that stick afterwards. So at the moment, it kind of looks like my flowers are floating in midair. We will resolve that as we go through. Fiona says, I got a little bit overexcited, so my brain was running away with ideas, and now with the two sizes of dove, it would make a gorgeous over-the-top mobile. Yes, wouldn't it just? Really, really pretty with that sort of idea, Fiona. Christine says, thank you, Hannah. Gives me time to recover from the next USB. Brilliant. Yeah, I love it. Okay. Just keep checking that the placement we are happy with, like so. I'm not going to stick that lily because I think that lily is going to work well after the placement of the sentiment. I think let's go in with a couple of leaves now. Now, obviously, I'm working with vellum, so we don't want to use a whole load of Pinflair behind it because it will show, okay? So let's be clever with our placement. Let's go in, tuck our little leaves perhaps under and over like so. Just check the placement, and I can see I've got a little bit of stem underneath everything else. That is probably going to be held in place beautifully by the sentiment anyway, so I'm not going to worry about gluing it. Anywhere where I'm going to add in a longer line, for example, the eucalyptus here, I will probably add in either a little bit of glue, or if I can get some to hand fairly painlessly, yes, I can, a little bit of red liner tape, because obviously it's a shinier surface, so it's nice to go in. Same thing as I do with printouts, you know, the vignettes there. Whenever I'm sticking flowers, I only tend to have a little tiny anchor point somewhere on the line itself. If I need to go in and add more, I can do so. But at the moment, having that little anchor point allows me to have the rest of the item free, and it gives a nice amount of movement on the front of the card. Let me just lift and tuck. So this little one is going to go behind these. So I'm going to gently lift, kind of a bit cat-handed because I'm trying not to get my head in the way of the camera. Lift and tuck, like so. So though you're not overloading the card with detail, what you're doing here is introducing a level of detailing. You're introducing a level of texture without overburdening the card. You've just got a little bit, like so, to break up the layers in between. And that vellum works so well because obviously you've got the light shining through it. You can still see what's going on behind the items themselves. I think this larger leaf, I'm just going to again check my placement for my sentiment there. I'm going to have this one coming over the other side, but because I've already got this leaf here, I think I might trim this one down. Remember, with Carnation Crafts, your die cuts, once you've cut them out using our dies, are yours to do with as you wish. You have completely open angel policy, meaning you can make and sell as much as like, as long as you have cut the vignettes out using our dies or our SVG files, you are then welcome to make and sell on those. I'm going to go in with a tiny little bit of red liner tape on that piece of vellum as well. Let's just stick. And remember, most of these little points are going to be covered up with that sentiment anyway. Let's just remove. I'm going to lift those stems. Red liner tape. Those little bits get everywhere, don't they? Absolutely everywhere. The carrier sheet from the red liner tape. Lifting. And tucking like so. I'm quite happy if there's edges of my flowers or my leaves that are coming over the side of the card. That really doesn't matter to me. I think it just adds in detailing. Now I'm going to go in and stick my sentiment because I think I've built enough of the design behind, but I'm going to go in and then add more little bits. Again, as I said, we are mounting this always in our hearts, cut from the vignette, mounted on perfect smooth cardstock, and then on 1mm foam tape, just to give it a little bit of lift from the background, a little bit of point of difference between the flowers and the sentiment there, and just checking alignment, making sure that's as central as can be, and then committing to sticking that down. You see what I mean? You know, you're then sticking a lot of those tips of the leaves and the flowers and things just in place using the foam on the sentiment as well. So it just takes a little bit of design process there. I'm going to stick our dove in place next. So he's going to be coming swooping up from the corner of the card. And a card like this, you know, as we mentioned, you would make a box for it. You'd make an absolute ceremony out of something like this. For our dove, I'm going to probably shape out his tummy first. So which size? I think that one. So I'm going to come down following the details of the vignette, just shaping out his tummy, shaping out his head there, and then coming into his tail. So I'm going to initially shape his tail with a larger ball tool, and then I'm going to come in with a finer ball tool and just follow the lines of the die cut there to shape those tails out further. Going to do similar with the feathers on the wings, just to keep those rounded like so. So I'm just taking the ball tool and running it up the length of those feathers, mainly the outside ones, but giving the inside layers of the feathers a little roundness too. And it's these little things, it's these little levels of detailing that are really going to make your card stand out from the rest. So you see here, where we've done all that balling, our dove, if you like, is kind of curved that way. What we can do now is lift the dove's wings, obviously play around with that center detailing on the die itself, lift the head. And just as we do with the leaves, just ball out the wings even further. So you're getting that lift on them, okay? It creates that kind of natural flow, just running that wing along the edge of the pokey tool, between the pokey tool and your thumb, and then using that tip just to then lift up, okay? Let's have our dove swooping in, sort of pointing his beak towards the sentiment there. I love this. I think it's such a beautiful size to include on your card makes. a little bit of pin flare on his head and a little bit of pin flare on his tummy. We're not going to stick the wings because I think having that lift and that movement on the wings is very pretty. And let's just position him. So I'm taking care that his tail comes over the edge of the mats and layers, so it draws that side of the design in, and then just part of his little head comes over the sentiment too, so it looks placed. It looks like you've taken the time to think about where all your elements are going to sit. Obviously we've got the lily here, but we just want to fill in that little side, that little gap there. I'm going to tuck that in underneath the wing, but I have the top of the lily spilling over the edge of the sentiment. So just testing out how that sits, and then using that pin flare just to the centre, like so. Gently placing, and then taking that wing of the dove, like so, placing that over, perhaps shuffling that lily down ever so slightly. I think we're going to need just a little bit of the eucalyptus coming in from underneath the lily as well, just to bring in the fact you've got these details aligned. That I'm going to add a little bit of, what am I going to add? Everyday glue, I think, on this one. And like so. Carol says you could use those wings on an angel. Yeah, wouldn't that be a lovely sentiment as well? Trim the wings away from the dove itself, Carol. Lovely idea there. And then use them as sort of angel wings on a card as well. Very, very lovely design concept there. A little bit of everyday glue just on the back of that eucalyptus as that tucks under my sentiment and my lily. And again, tuck that under the wing. I want the wing to be sort of forefront. It's just adding those little extra bits so it ties the top of your flowers down to this middle section. And I would like to introduce a few of these. I love these little florals, but I love using them snipped into, because remember, snippability on Carnation Crafts is just awesome. So just coming in and releasing a few of these flowers. Again, just as we did with the dove, this time around, cutting the flowers away from the stems. Let's just trim down, I think, let's just trim down this one as well. Again, it might not be that I use all of these, but it just gives you options on which to build. It might be that you want to create a wedding card, as we mentioned. Perhaps you want to use a little bit more uplifting colours, because you've got those several colourway variants on these Midi flowers, the Midi flowers too. It's just going to work so beautifully. That's going to sit just behind there, I think. So again, a little bit of pin flare just on the bottom of those flowers. And lift. And tuck. You see how now you're building in this kind of feel that there's more going on. It is just like being a real florist and adding in to the detailing. A little bit of everyday glue on the stem of those to tuck behind that little eucalyptus leaf. Break up that little area there, and then kind of want these ones coming in here. Just using that everyday glue sparsely, lifting and tucking behind other stems and things to give it a very realistic look. Fiona said, Hannah, are you using Friday glue on a Thursday? Do you know what? No, Fiona, I've gone absolutely crazy, and this is not like me at all. I'm using Sunday glue on a Thursday. I mean, goodness me, what was I thinking? The reason being, it sounds like I've got an excuse. I kind of do. I've only just unpacked my case, or finished unpacking from the shows yesterday, and my glues are just everywhere, so they need sorting out before they go back on the shelf in the craft room. If anyone knows me very well, you'll know how distressing that is for me. I'm going to tuck this little one just behind this lily as well, because again, we're keeping that idea. Anything we do on the top, we want to then repeat to the bottom. And actually, I'm really happy with how that's looking. I want to pull those freesias out just a tad. That's right. And then just shuffle those over so you get a little bit more of those freesias in the background. We did mention that dove. I think let's go for it. Let's put that dove on the other side. as well. But before we stick, we're going to obviously then ball that out as well. So little dove's tummy, little dove's head, and the wings as well. Again, you'll notice everything I'm using is in that double vignette, that mirrored vignette finish, giving you that ability to really go to town and that height and dimension, because there's going to be no white bits shown. I think that does make the cards very, very special. Tiny little glue pin flare again, just to lift this dove. And that dove is going to sit just that central panel as well. So you're drawing in the same kind of aspects, that central panel design there. And I think, do you know what? I think I'm really happy with how that card's looking. I think that card really comes to life with that beautiful dove. Obviously, as I say, I would make a box for something like this just because it's something very, very special. And I think I'm happy with that. I think that looks lovely. What do you think, guys think? What would you change? What would you do on your versions of this? Let me just turn that camera around. There we are. And I will hold up the card for you guys to see. Yeah, I think that vellum there adds a really lovely dimension, lovely soft look to the card shape itself. A lot of fun. So that is our little demonstration using today's deal of the day, which is our brand new launch. It's our Crafter Select die set called the Mini Soaring Dove. Here we go. Let me just bring that into shot that side. Hannah would be better. Obviously, I've cut that away. We did show you in the first demonstration how you can use the card base to create a three-dimensional card, but of course you can then trim that dove down as well should you wish to. It just gives you options. It just gives you a way of crafting with these. I'm looking forward to seeing what you might create. I know the team are working hard at dispatching all your orders as we speak, which is fabulous. Do also take a look at the cards we've uploaded to the Facebook pages and social media for more inspiration too. It's today's deal of the day. Now, I can't stress this enough, as the name would suggest, a deal of the day is for one day only. And this has launched with 25% off. So it is $14.99 on today's price. The price will then go back up tomorrow to $19.99. If you'd like the code for this particular die set, it is 211046. Head on over to our website, check that out, and don't forget to check the extra vignettes, those special edition vignettes as well, to give you even more craftability with this die set. Also, it is well worth checking, and I know I do say this on a lot of Facebook Lives, and I do get a lot of questions about it afterwards. Check our events pages. We are doing everything we can to bring you even more online shows, Facebook shows, from launch shows for the website launches, just giving you more inspiration, talking you through the collections, obviously still doing the show previews, still bringing you demonstrations each week, but it's really worth checking out the events pages, signing up to each event, because you will get a notification each time we go live. If you've got any feedback, we'd love to hear it as well. We do have Carla's just said, don't FaceTime me yet, I'm going in the shower and nobody needs to see that. Do you know what, Carla? You FaceTime me when you're done. How about that? Let's just see. Lots of love coming in for the card. Thank you, guys. So I'd love to see your versions of these when you get your lovely Crafter Select die home. Check out the events pages, as we're saying. Let us know on the Carnation Crafts group if you've got any requests for Facebook Live shows. We will be taking those requests on board. There is a pinned post on there. Just find it in the featured posts and add your comments to that as well. I will be back on... I'm trying to think. Monday with... Oh, I've even written it down. It's right in front of me. Monday with a Facebook show for the launch of the Lots of Love collection to our website. So it's well worth joining us for that. I think it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We'll be back on Tuesday with another Facebook Live show, show preview this time for Just Passing By. We've had to kind of condense them all into the same day. So the show preview and the show itself. So Just Passing By, our next die collection launches on Create and Craft at 3:45 on Tuesday the 18th. We will be doing the show preview that morning at 11 o'clock. And then we're also back on Friday morning with another Facebook demonstration using the wreath card from the Lots of Love die collection, which was a Facebook request as well. So until then, keep safe, keep crafting, share with us your makes as well, and I very much look forward to seeing you next time on this Facebook Live. See you later, guys. Bye bye.